Watkins Glen International. No other road course in America has as much history, dating back to just after World War II.
45 years ago, to extend the tourist season in this beautiful part of the country, the Village Fathers decided to hold a race in October. For that event and all events through 1952, the start-finish line was right here on Main Street in Watkins Glen in front of the Schuyler County Courthouse. The race course wound around the surrounding township and county roads for 6.6 miles through the Watkins Glen State Park, where Benny is.
Hard to believe this old stone bridge was part of a race course and that old cars like this Jaguar MGTCs and TDs averaged more than 60 miles per hour in 1948. And then no one ever went in to drink here because this old bridge was treated with great respect and caution as it should have been. This race course also had another unique landmark, and that's where Jerry Punch is.
Ned and Benny, the only way the first races at Watkins Glen could be run was with the help of the New York Central Railroad Company. You see, the New York Central used these tracks for both passenger and freight back in 1948, but they were persuaded not to use the tracks on race day. That day in October when the first race was held is still referred to around here as the day they stopped the trains.
When the final checkered flag dropped on that old race course, the city residents transferred their enthusiasm and support to a new venue. And there are new faces and names at the Glen nowadays. The NASCAR Winston Cup drivers are here for their second and final road race of the year. But one thing hasn't changed. In 45 years, the enthusiasm and affection the residents of the Finger Lakes region of New York have for their Watkins Glen International. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Watkins Glen International in New York for the NASCAR Winston Cup Bud at the Glen. Last year, this race was rain-plagued. As a matter of fact, it was shortened by rain. This year, however, no precipitation is expected. We have partly sunny skies. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Watkins Glen as this historic old race course gets set for another round of NASCAR Winston Cup competition, the 19th stop of the series in 1993 and the second and final road course event of the year. And it appears as if Dale Earnhardt is on his way to another championship, leading Dale Jarrett by 234 in the point standings. Rusty Wallace, Morgan Shepherd, and Mark Martin complete the top five. Only one driver, Wallace, has won a race here at Watkins Glen. However, Mark Martin has recorded top five finishes in the past 4 races. And he's also won the pole for today's event. Here's more with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's hard to believe that Mark Martin has led 611 laps, yet is winless in 1993. It's not because he and his team have not been strong. As they fire the engines here on pit road and come to life, this team has been stout almost everywhere they've been. Remember Atlanta. What about Bristol, Tennessee, New Hampshire? Hey, Michigan, they dominated all afternoon, only to run out of fuel with 9 laps to go. Well, after shattering the qualifying record here at Watkins Glen, there's a lot of self-imposed pressure on Mark Martin, Steve Field, the entire Roush team to pick up win number 1 right here today. Now, for a Moreland team has had to endure more than pressure the past few weeks, here's John Kerner.
Well, Jerry, yes, certainly pressure and emotion, a way of life the last few weeks for the Robert Yates Racing Team. Also a pressure-packed weekend for driver Lake Speed, who has been named to take over this ride for the remainder of the year. But Lake has risen to the challenge, qualifying 4th this weekend. Now, that may have been a surprise to some people, but it really shouldn't have been. Lake has a lot of road racing experience. In fact, in 1978, he won the FIA World Karting Championship. He's looking for some good runs in this car to help him secure sponsorship for his own team for next year. Now, as far as the 28 car for next year, Ernie Irvan has asked for his release from the Morgan McClure ride to drive this car. That has not been worked out. Nothing new to report to you this weekend. But getting back to road courses, Ernie Irvan has been one of the hottest drivers over the last couple of years. In the last 4 races, he has 1-2, finished no worse than 3rd. And here at Watkins Glen, Benny, he has really mastered this racetrack.
Well, John, he's got 7 corners to master, plus an inner loop. I've done in turn 1 as always. And yesterday, during the SCCA Trans Am race, we had a lot of activity here. 2 cars missed the corner getting in, hit the tire barrier pretty doggone hard. Another car, as he exited the corner, crashed in the guardrail and tore the entire nose off his car. Today will be no exception. We'll see guys trying to pass here. We'll have a lot of activity. Now, Ned, Jerry, you're down at a place that's got a lot of corners. Should be a lot of activity. Yesterday, not too much action.
Not too much action yesterday, Benny, but I think that we will see a lot of action here today. I'm in turn 5, just after they have gone through the inner loop, and really there are 4 turns there. Now, before they put that in, they reached a top speed back there of about 173, 174 miles an hour, but now it's about 165, but they really got to brake hard going into that turn, and you can see some passing coming through here. But I think that inner loop, adding those 4 turns, is going to help a guy like Mark Martin, who has so much downforce on his car that he set a new track record here. I think he's going to be hard to catch.
Ned, can you imagine? He beat the field by almost 3/4 of a second, Mark Martin did.
That's hard to believe in today's competition, as close as it is everywhere. But he has the race car. Mark Martin has proven he's one of the best road racers in the business, even though he hasn't won on a road course. Today just might be the day.
We have a big day of racing here on ESPN. This race, 90 laps, 220.5 miles. We'll have some beautiful aerial shots of Watkins Glen International today, provided by Blockbuster Entertainment Corporation. Well, the field has moved out onto the racetrack for a couple of warm-up laps, and then they'll get the green flag for the Bud at the Glen. Here's the lineup. Mark Martin's on the pole with an average of 119.118 in the Valvoline Ford car number 6. Starting alongside in row 1 will be Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri in the number 25 Kodiak Chevrolet. Terry Labonte starts 3rd. He's in the Kellogg Chevrolet car number 14, and then the Haviland Ford number 28, driven by Lake Speed from Jackson, Mississippi. Dale Earnhardt starts 5th in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet car number 3, flanked by Rusty Wallace from St. Louis, Missouri in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac number 2. Kyle Petty will start in 7th position in the Mellow Yellow Pontiac car number 42, and then Bill Elliott in the number 11 Budweiser Ford Bills from Dawsonville, Georgia. Ricky Rudd gets the 9th starting position in the Tide Chevrolet car number 5. Wally Dallenbach from Basalt, Colorado drives the number 16 Keystone Beer Ford from 10th starting spot. Jeff Gordon will start 11th. He's from Pittsboro, Indiana in the DuPont Chevrolet. And Ernie Irvin from Modesto, California in the number 4 Kodak Film Chevrolet. The defending NASCAR Busch Grand National champion Joe Nemechek has qualified well for this race. He starts alongside Dale Jarrett in the 7th row. And as you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, the cars, as you can see, are coming out of one of the corners and just about ready to start this competition here this afternoon. Kenny Wallace and Phil Parsons back in the 10th row. Rick Wilson and Bobby Labonte starts from row number 12. The 11th row has Dorsey Schrader, and we will be talking with him throughout the afternoon as he drives the Country Time Lemonade car. There are a total of 38 cars and drivers who have qualified for this event and are ready to go for competition. Todd Bodine replacing Dick Trickle in the number 75 car. Ed Ferree and Ted Musgrave in the next to the last row. And the last row goes to Hut Strickland and Scott Gaylord. As I mentioned, Dorsey Schrader will be not only carrying an in-car camera, but we'll have some radio conversation with him throughout the day. Dorsey, this is Bob Jenkins. Can you hear me up here in the broadcast booth? His crew right now, so we'll try to get through to him just a little bit later. We'll try it again. Dorsey, this is Bob. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bob, hear you fine.
Well, apparently you can hear me, but...
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, he is. All right. Dorsey, what are the feelings as you're on your final warm-up lap here, getting set to go?
Well, right now we're just concentrating on getting the brakes in. I got brand new brake pads on the front of this, brand new rotors. So I'm riding the brake a little bit. I want to try to get to the inside as soon as I can. At least I'm starting on the inside. That's a help. But I can get a good start here and maybe pick up 3 or 4 positions. Our ultimate goal, we'd like to get up to turn 10th, 11th, 12th place and get in single file and ride for a while. If we can do that, then we'll just run off some laps so you can be comfortable.
Is this, though, by and large, an endurance race rather than something that you have to get to the front for quickly?